On this trip we take it easy and spread the flying across 4 days. I have company and a ground crew. We planned for easy days, about 2 to 4 hours flying each day. A car on the ground makes getting to and from airports much easier. We also added in a few days contingency for possible issues and weather conditions. Each day started with loading up the car, piling in, and then departure from an airport somewhere. Hi boys.
G'day, we're on our way out to the airport to have a look at this.
Don't give a game away, I was going to do that, that's my line.
Sorry.
Let's now enjoy this brief insight into how all the planning paid off and how my wife Raylene and my friend Kevin, the ground crew, dug in the Sea Ray, Sparkles the new trike and I completed a 1,500 kilometre journey across 3 states of Australia. Hang on a minute, did anyone remember to do a flight plan? We can't go until we've done a flight plan. Okay, so the way that we used to do flight plans was like this. But now, we don't do that anymore. We use electronic flight bags, EFBs. Much easier, much quicker, and probably much more informative at the same time. Let's go and have a look and see how we do that. In Australia, there's 2 types of EFBs that are commonly used. One is called Oz Runways and the other one is called AvPlan. Now they both do the same thing, just a little bit different. Some people prefer one over the other. I normally use AvPlan, and I'm certainly not telling you to use it. It's your personal preference, whichever one you choose. I think there's pretty much an equal following on both these days. So what I normally do to start flight planning is, obviously I know where I'm trying to get to, and I also know where I'm taking off from. So the first thing we need to do is plot a course from here to there, from the start to the end. Then what we do is a lot of other things. Of course, for a long cross-country flight, all of the initial planning was done days, weeks and even months before the flight commenced. It should never be left until the day or night before the flight. The other thing you should start doing about a week from the departure date is watch and monitor the weather systems and how they are changing and evolving. This gives you a feel for how fast it is changing and what it might do in the near future. I like to organise myself in this order. A week or more from the flight, check your licenses, registrations and security passes and be sure they are up to date for the duration of the trip. Start navigation planning by deciding on the departure and destination locations. Work out your estimated flight times and fuel use. Get the times of first and last light for each day of travel. Identify best places to stop for fuel or to overnight. Identify controlled, danger, restricted and military airspaces. Add in any other places you want to stop each day for a short rest or visit. Watch and monitor the weather patterns. The day before each leg of flight, the first step, final weather check. Check and amend your flight plan accordingly as required. Check the NOTAMs for all airfields you are going to that day. Check for restricted airspace activations along your chosen flight route. Note destination airports, their frequencies, taxiways and arrival procedures. Note any potential diversion airfields. Organise your backup navigation devices or paper charts. Lodge some sort of search and rescue with people you know. Tell them which way you are going, where you expect to be, and when. Let them know when you complete your flying each day. Set your alarm clock, get up time. Try and get the best sleep you can. On the day of the trip, recheck weather, NOTAMs and restricted airspaces. Recheck you have sufficient fuel for each leg based on the day's forecast winds. If not, you will need to amend the flight plan before you leave. Make sure everyone else on the journey knows the plan. Pre-flight, depart and stay safe. The next day of travelling, repeat from the first step, weather. So before we finish this video, there's one more thing I want to talk about today, and that is using the AvPlan or Oz Runways app on your iPad while flying in a cold altitude on long distance cross-country flights. As open cockpit flyers at altitude, we have to wear gloves and it's quite cold, and there's a risk that we won't be able to fully utilize all of the functionality of the app on the iPad during flight. Now, one of those features or functions on the app is being able to zoom, and as if all of us that have used the apps know that we use pinch to zoom, and I want to demonstrate that now. The zoom function is not possible with gloves on. If you take your gloves off, there's a risk you won't be able to get them back on, and you can't. Everything I do, I use a stylus for. So let's have a look at that now and I'll show you what I mean. So as you can see, everything I do on the iPad at the moment in the app, I can do with one finger. Now when it comes to zooming anything, I have to use two fingers. Wouldn't it be great if we just had one plus minus button, plus minus, where we could just zoom in, zoom out, and then we could use a stylus to do everything. So yeah, I can flick through pages, I can switch screens, I can monitor my navigation progress, but when it comes to actually zooming, I have to use two fingers. That means taking off the gloves and not being able to use a stylus. So if you could let Oz Runways and AvPlan know that you also would find that feature handy, and that is the plus minus buttons for the stylus, so that you can zoom just by a simple touch of either one of those two, so that the map zooms by a certain amount of step range. Let them know. Give me your support there, and just let's all try and get this feature implemented. They promised that they would do it 2 years ago, and both companies are still haven't implemented it. So let's do that and see how we go. Well, that's it in a nutshell. Your instructors are better resources for this than I am. Let me know what I have missed in the comments below, or anything you would have changed here. For me, completing this video for you has also helped me to put things into a logical and safer sequence. This is similar to our aircraft pre-flight checklist. In the next video, we will be departing Victoria and heading home on the first day of our big 1,500 kilometre journey. See you then. Thanks for coming along.